Driving Miss Daisy is a play by American playwright Alfred Urey. It is about the relationship of an elderly Southern Jewish woman, Daisy Worthen, and her African-American chauffeur, Hoke Colburn. It spans 25 years from 1948 to 1973. The play was the first in Urey's Atlanta trilogy, which deals with the Jewish residents of that city in the early 20th century. Driving Miss Daisy won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1988. In 1989, it was turned into a very famous film starring Jessica Tandy, Morgan Freeman, and Dan Aykroyd. Welcome to Chatting UpStage, the behind-the-scenes look with UpStage Artist Theater. Today, we are going to be talking to the cast of Driving Miss Daisy, UpStage Artists' winter production for 2022. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. Anne?
Hi, I'm Ann Hull, and I'm playing Daisy Wortham.
Carlos Jordan, and I'll be playing Hoke Colburn.
And I am Rick Bergman, your host, and I will also be playing Bully Worthen in Driving Miss Daisy. So we're going to begin by asking our actors what got them into acting. And what got you into acting?
What got me into acting? My 9-year-old girlfriend asked me if I wanted to go try out for a play and be Sneezy in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I was 9 at the time, too.
Sneezy, very interesting.
I played Sneezy, as did the other 7 dwarves, until we literally outgrew the costumes.
I've done a lot of shows over and over again until I've outgrown the costume. Carlos, what got you interested in acting?
Oh, wow. I would say the fact that I could pretend to be something that I'm not more often than not, and be cheered or laughed or whatever, getting that response. Once I saw that, I was all in. I've been doing that since a toddler. So
I wish I could say my purpose was just as noble. Although I did a few things through elementary and middle school. In high school, when I realized the ratio of girls to boys was almost triple, 3-to-1, acting seemed to be the thing I wanted to go for. So I joined the drama club to meet girls.
Shallow Hal meets a gal.
So let's talk about Driving Miss Daisy.
Hmm?
What interested you in coming out for Driving Miss Daisy?
Oh, so many things. It's a very challenging role in a lot of different ways. Daisy is a woman with issues. And so being able to dive into that character, to hopefully make it come alive. And also, it's the message that this play brings as well, of how people treated each other and how they grew to treat each other better. So that's part of the reason.
Very nice. Carlos?
Well, I knew this role would be, I wouldn't say difficult, but I knew it would be a stretch for me. First of all, the character is 20 years my senior. I wasn't able to, just reading a script and looking at the words that was you. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to say these words and not laugh or not struggle with the wording? And but I just knew that the importance of the character, Hoke's character, I just knew it was something that I wanted to try to tackle and stretch myself as an actor, as a performer. So when I first heard that the Driving Miss Daisy was going to be coming up, I immediately threw my hat into the ring, wanted to jump in.
That's wonderful. For me, I was the one that actually brought this to the company as a potential show to direct for myself. And as I began to read it and reread it, I realized what a wonderful character Bully is. Bully struggles with keeping his frustration with his mother to a minimum, even though he is frustrated. He's a very kind character. And I love that about him. As Carlos said, he ages throughout the play from about my age to 65. And the warmness he shows to characters like Hoke, who at the time was not necessarily looked upon as something great because of the color of his skin.
Mhm.
And the way Bully treats him as an equal is fascinating to me, because he's a businessman, and at that time you didn't see that happening.
Sure.
So I love playing his warmth. So tell us about the first time you were exposed to Driving Miss Daisy, while others play, or in my case, it was the movie.
Oh, I could start. I've seen the movie, seen Morgan Freeman's adaptation of doing the character, I don't know how many times. And I've also seen James Earl Jones' version in the 2015 play with Angela Lansbury. And I knew initially, I was like, okay, I don't know what direction the director, I didn't even know who was going to be directing at the time, but I was like, if I get this character, I want to do somewhat of a mix of the two characters versus the movie and the play, and then put my own spin on it. So I've seen both of them, and I've seen another person's play. He was probably younger than I was, who performed Hulk as well. I wasn't impressed with his characterization of the character. So that's where I get my, inspiration of between the movie and the play with James Earl Jones.
Interesting. And
I have my first experience with the play was another production of it. I saw probably 15, 20 years ago. And I have never watched the movie. I haven't watched any video. I certainly know that Jessica Tandy and Angela Lansbury are fine actresses, and I would be stupid to try and imitate them. So my approach to this has been to really dive into the script and try to portray the vision that the director has for it and help develop that vision for the character and the play, so that it was initially a very uncomfortable role for me to play. There are a lot of lines in there that it took me a long time to make my mouth say, because I was so uncomfortable with them. So that's another part of the challenge of this role. There's a lot of stuff that was close. After having grown up in the South myself, there was a lot of stuff that was close. So, that goes back to some of the original question of why I was interested in doing it as well. But my exposure is just what I've been able to glean from the script.
Yeah. I mean, for my generation, it was definitely the movie, which came out in 89, I believe.
89.
So I would have been 11 at the time. And watching it as a child, it was comical. Acting it on stage as an adult, it's still comical, but there are so many deeper layers. And it's, being in a show where you are one of 3 performers and there really is no other support than the other 2 performers is difficult, but it's also freeing.
Mhm.
And, in some ways, it has been wonderful getting to know these 2 actors on a different level. I have not known Anne for very long. We just met a couple months ago, but I have known Carlos for 25 years. And being in a production that is this tightly knit and tightly intimate has taken what I was exposed to through the movie as a young child and moved it to levels that I would have never thought of before. So what is your biggest challenge in connecting with your characters?
So again, the age gap. I don't want to overdo it. Trying to compensate for someone that's literally older than me, and then the speech of that time period. Again, I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to sound corny or or sound like I'm trying too hard. I want it to sound as natural as possible. As it's coming off of the script into my memory bank, I want to be able to act it as natural as possible. So I just doing my best not to overcompensate for the words that are coming to me. I think what are we now? We're 2 weeks away, and I finally feel like I have it. Like I really feel comfortable as Hulk. I get up, go to bed as Hulk in my mind. Like I'm like sleeping. I'm like saying my prayers as Hulk, like he would say it. So I'm starting to do the things that I normally do every day as myself, but I'm not doing them as myself. I'm doing them as this character. So I find it fun. Even arguing with my kids, I'm like, now you supposed to. I expect you're supposed to do that schoolwork that ain't proper taken care of. So everything now in my life is Hulk Coburn. So
Very interesting.
I feel sorry for your family. Why don't you go first?
Okay. For me, honestly, the biggest challenge has been the accent. I struggle with accents, and I've been acting for 20 plus years, and have always struggled with accents. And keeping it sustained for an hour and a half is difficult. But it's gotten to the point now that it kind of slips on like a pair of shoes, which is good. You know, when I practice my lines at home, if I'm not using the accent, I stumble over the words, which surprised me the first time I did it. Because for me, I like to do speed throughs, which is you say your lines as fast as you can, just to make sure you have them in your memory banks. And I have found that doing it in my normal voice, I can't do it, which I found very interesting. But putting the accent on is very liberating because you are truly in another universe. Your speech is different, your body language is different, the way you look at things is different, and that has been challenging but liberating.
People have asked me a couple of times, how do you memorize so many lines? I mean, we've got 36 pages of lines, and it is muscle memory. Literally muscle memory from the brain down to the mouth and the tongue. And I absolutely know what you're talking about. I cannot do a speed through because the Southern accent includes the rhythm and the pacing, which is much slower than we tend to naturally talk around here.
Absolutely.
Plus, most people don't realize there's a whole lot more than one Southern accent.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you're listening to mine now, and that's just the one that evolved where I grew up. But there's 6, 7, 8, maybe more Southern accents, different dialects, even before you get into the Black dialects of the South. So Texas is very different than Georgia. South Carolina, North Carolina are worlds apart, just like their barbecue.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Southern drawl and
absolutely. I mean, when I started doing it, I focused on the draw because I knew it would slow me down.
Yes.
So what have you found enjoyable about your character? What have you found that you didn't realize was there on the page when you first did this?
Similar to what Carlos was saying earlier, I love it when I can make somebody laugh. But Daisy is not the comic in this play. Daisy is the glue again. She is the straight role in this play. She's kind of the post of which all the other stuff bounces off of. There's a few good lines in there.
Absolutely.
But I love it when I can make somebody else laugh. Yeah. And I forgot your question.
No, I think that's great. I mean, I hope, for me, I wholeheartedly agree. Finding the humor in this, because it is a heavy play. It deals with some heavy themes. And as you said, Daisy, unfortunately, is the glue that holds it together dramatically.
Yeah.
So, you know, Carlos as Hoke and Bully definitely get more of the comedy out of it than Daisy's character does. But your reactions to the two of us are priceless. I
Yes.
mean, Daisy reacts to the craziness that is around her.
And you definitely have a few couple of one-liners that are wow, don't miss that because it's hilarious. And I believe the same thing for me. Naturally, as a comedian, I enjoy being able to make people laugh. But for me, what's thrilling about this role is that I really have to stretch myself. Like I really have to. This is not natural at all to try to make sure that not only am I doing my lines right, am I doing my actions right, am I doing my staging, and everything just has to be right, because that's the way I roll. I don't want to just do something. And to see that even as the director is enjoying it, or people that's on book enjoying it, and no one's even here viewing the play yet, that I'm getting a thrill already. I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely. So if there's one thing you could let the audience know about the show, what would you like to tell them?
Get your ticket now. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You missed the show. Don't say anything. Oh, wow, I wish you guys had no, don't wish. Get your ticket. This is not one that you want to miss, really. I mean that.
Absolutely.
It's some amazing acting. It's amazing comedy. You're going to laugh. You might cry. You're definitely going to feel it. And you may even want to come back the second night or the following weekend. This is definitely a great play with great actors, great production. Hope to see you all there.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you too. And we hope to see you here for our production of Driving Miss Daisy.